Broadcast Association and this station.
This is the Morning Sports Desk for Friday, September 8th. Corey, we have a guest joining us on the line today. It is John Lilquist. He's the Activities Director over at Sabika High School. John, good morning. Thanks for waking up with us on the Morning Sports Desk.
John, I'm glad you can be a part of this and kicking off what is going to be a weekly check-in with activities directors around the region. This is a pretty cool opportunity to basically get this, like, as your state of the union, the state of affairs with Sabika Trojan High School fall sports. Let's start things off with volleyball. And I guess first things first, we're early season. From a year ago to this year, what's different about the team? Is there a lot of turnover from a year ago to this year? Are you returning a lot of players? Just status update on that volleyball roster.
Well, we lost a lot of really good seniors, but we do return quite a few girls. That we have some that didn't play last year because of injury, and some that got time on the varsity floor. So even though you might look at our roster and say, boy, they're returning a lot of, underclassmen, a lot of these girls did have experience coming into the year. And we started off so far 2-2 on the year, and we feel like we have a good shot to be really good at the end of the year.
So what's the early season breakdown of the volleyball team? When things are going right for Sabika Trojan volleyball, what are you doing well? And is there, early signs of, hey, we need to, clean some of this up?
Yeah, I would say right now we've done a good job of hitting. We have a right side attacker, Miranda Lilquist, who's really done a great job last night against Wadena. She had 14 kills and played really well. So, I mean, when we can get her hitting and our passings on, and normally that's kind of our bread and butter is our serve, receive, and passing game. And right now I think that's been a little bit off for us. So, I mean, once we get that down, I think that we're going to be really tough to play with. We had a tough match with Wadena last night, but we took a set from a really good Wadena team. So we hope to build off that momentum. Saturday we go to the ADA tournament, and that's a big one for us. So hopefully we can keep it going there.
John Lilquist, Activities Director over at Sabika High School, joining us this morning on the Morning Sports Desk. Hey, John, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk a little football. A little bit of different look this year for Sabika Trojans football, kind of moving sections a little bit, I believe, or just kind of what's that looking like this year for Sabika Trojan football?
Yeah, so instead of going west and south like we normally do, we are kind of going more east and north. So it's a really different schedule. We still have Burndale and Bertha Hewitt on our schedule, but otherwise most of our opponents are brand new to us. So right now football's 1-1. We just won 60-6 in our last game. And this is the most juniors and seniors that we've had out since we went back to being Sabika football. So I know our coaching staff is really excited about the prospects for the year, and the kids are really geared up to play. And we have a big one tonight against Nevis. Haven't played them. I don't ever remember playing Nevis in football, so it's probably our first time playing them. So the kids are super excited to see some of these new teams and see what we can do.
And John, you talk about building that momentum, going back to Sabika Trojans, now moving into a new section, kind of trying to finagle that. What's kind of the momentum been like, and how fun is it kind of been to get to see them in this new section and get to try out all these new teams?
I think it's really fun because you go into these games not having as much of an idea of what you're expecting, where when you're playing some of the perennial teams, like in the Hancocks and the Wheatons and everything, you kind of know like what you're to expect. But right now, and one thing I guess that is a lot different nowadays is with tape. There isn't as much unfamiliarity just because we're able to, our coaches can see so much tape of the opponents that they're going to play. But at the same time, our kids don't know these kids, and so it's kind of neat when they go to a different place, or we have a different team come to Sabika that's never been here before, and just to hear them say, oh geez, never seen this field, and those types of feedback. So I think it's been a good thing for our football team to be able to see some new opponents and just, have that excitement of, hey, we've never seen these guys before. Let's see what we can do.
John, football and volleyball, obviously the big ones at every school in the fall, but other activities happening in Topeka as well. Can you keep us up to speed on what else is happening around Topeka in the fall?
So we have our UNC cross country team, and they're going to Morehead State tonight for kind of a unique meet. They run it at dusk and into the dark, and they do it with their college programs, but they also have a high school portion of it. So we're going to be running and competing in the high school portion, and they start the meet in the football stadium, and they run where the track is, and then they run out of the stadium, and then they finish back in the stadium. So it's really cool because they pack the bleachers and have a huge crowd, because that's one thing those of you that have been in cross country know before is you don't have a huge crowd most of the time. So it'd be really neat for these kids to be able to be on kind of a big stage, in a bigger community, and to have also the opportunity to watch a college cross country meet as well after the high school meet.
There's always good runners coming out of that UNC Warrior program. Is that the case again this season?
Yeah, I think our girls especially, the first meet, I know that I talked to our coach, Nicole Oyster, and she said that on the very first meet we had two girls that already had their personal records. So, in cross country, that's a lot of times you're not only running against others, but you are running against yourself to see if you can improve on what you've done before. So, and we didn't even have our best runner run at that first meet. So she's really excited because she said that she's had some runners that have really put in a lot of miles in the summer, and she thinks that we're going to have a really fun year, and we have a wide open section with Perham not being in it this year. So she's looking forward to a really good shot at us maybe advancing to state. Anything
else happening this fall that you want to mention?
I'm just excited. Last night we had it was just a really super fun atmosphere against Wadena Deer Creek. I was really happy with our student section. We've kind of made that a focus these last couple of years, is to try to get a little more excitement and energy into our building. And I felt like last night was a super example of that. Our kids just, I was just really proud of the way that they were, singing during timeouts and cheering and doing all kinds of different things. And it was just a super fun atmosphere. And that just, makes it fun for our volleyball kids to play when they have that kind of support. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing if we can carry that on the rest of the year and keep that support and that energy. And it just makes it makes the school year go faster, makes sports go faster, and it's just fun for everybody. So hope to keep that continuing.
Always a tough place to play when that Sabika gym is rocking. John Lilquist, Activities Director over at Sabika High School. He joins us here on the Morning Sports Desk. John, thanks so much for joining the program and being the first Activities Director to hop on and talk with us. I hope you guys have a great fall sports season, a great school year ahead, and we look forward to talking with you later on in the school year. Awesome. Great to talk with you, John. We'll talk to you next time. It's 7:24 right now on the Morning Sports Desk. And Corey, let's shift gears here. Let's talk a little bit more about some high school football that's going on across the region. Actually, before we do that, you had a volleyball game last night. Maybe we can touch on that.
Sure, really quickly. John mentioned it. Sabika Trojans played Wadena Deer Creek last night. Park Region Conference volleyball officially began last evening with conference play. I had a different match within the conference. I had the Henning Hornets at the Verndale Pirates, and the Pirates came out 3-0 victors over the Hornets on Verndale's home floor, and just a really nice early season. It's fun to get into that Park Region Conference play. Like John talked about, the atmosphere is a little bit different. We're in school now, so students are there and involved. I love volleyball for a ton of different reasons. One of the reasons is because of those student sections. There is, it's the high school boys are the student sections, and probably guys on the football team in particular. And I'm not here to stereotype high school boys, but they're odd ducks, every single one of them that has ever been and ever will be a high school
As a
boy.
high school, as somebody who was once a high school boy, I can confirm.
Yes, they're just loud and obnoxious by default. So when you're given permission to be that way, it's really, really fun. So it was cool to be in the gym for a little conference volleyball while the school year is now officially in progress. It was fun.
Yeah, it's always a fun time to be in those gyms. So anything else you want to add from those volleyball games last night? Or are we ready to shift over to football?
Yeah, nothing from volleyball. I will say tonight on AM 1430 and 98.5 FM The Fan, we do have high school football on the air. Staples Motley at Breckenridge. It's a 6:40 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff. Tyler Grunwald will be there with all of the action, so we look forward to that matchup tonight on The Fan.
Yeah, and over on the Superstation, K106, that's 105.9 FM. Also streaming, as you mentioned, Corey, worldwide at WadenaRadio.com or on the Superstation K106 mobile app. It's the Pillager Huskies at the Wadena Deer Creek Wolverines. It's a 6:40 pregame with a 7 o'clock kickoff. I'll have all the action from that. Dirk will be joining me tonight as well, and we'll have that going over on the Superstation, Wadena Deer Creek, and Pillager. So, Corey, high school football, there's just a full slate of that going on across the region today. We're into it. Like you said, the first full week of the school year, and the games start to feel a little more packed. It's a little bit more crisp in the air. And that also means that Vikings football is upon us as well. They play their first game of the season on Sunday afternoon, US Bank Stadium. It's a noon kickoff over on the Superstation, 11 o'clock pregame.
11 o'clock, yep.
All that good stuff. Just quickly, what are your expectations for the Vikings going into week one? It's going to be a lot of energy. There's a lot of expectations coming off a 13-win season. The Vikings are wearing the throwback uniforms on Sunday.
They're so good, by the way.
There's going to be a big patch that just says Bud on it for Bud Grant.
Nice.
There's going to be a lot of stuff going on Sunday.
I have a lot of mixed emotions about the Vikings this year. I think they're going to win on Sunday. I don't know how I feel necessarily about the Vikings yet. I'm pretty sure Tampa Bay is not going to be good.
No.
That's my gut feeling. Tampa Bay is going to stink. Because of that, it's the season opener. It's the home opener. I do think the Vikings are going to win on Sunday and start the season off 1-0. But when I look at the schedule as a whole, boy, this is going to be a tougher year for the Vikings, at least according to the schedule. But when I go through each game individually, and maybe it's the Vikings fan in me, I can find reasons and spots here and there why it might be good. I've gone through the schedule just on my own accord a half a dozen times.
Yeah.
And I have ranged, this is not a joke, anywhere from 4 wins to 12 wins.
It's the duality of man, there's going to be, I think the Vikings are going to be I think the Vikings are a better team on paper than they were a year ago.
Yep.
I think they will finish 100% with a worse record than a year before. One, they're just not going to have the horseshoe, there with them this year. So that's not going to be as like just the law of averages states that it's going to shift back somewhere, not in that direction. They're playing a much tougher schedule, like you said, playing the AFC West. They also get to play the NFC South, which could balance that out a little bit.
Helpful.
But still, there's a lot of good quarterbacks on the schedule this year that they're going to have to play. And that Vikings defense, like we've talked about off air all the time, Corey, they could be better. Like there's nowhere to go but up. But also, do we know that for sure? Like, could they bottom out even worse? Like, we don't quite know that. Brian Flores' defense will be more aggressive. That doesn't necessarily, the talent's not much better than a year before. So, and they're paper thin in a lot of spots on the defensive side.
Right.
So this is going to be a team that, again, is going to have to outscore a lot of people for this year. And I think I told myself the Vikings are going to win like 6 games this year back in March. And now as the season gets closer, as I'm a homer, I'm like, 9 wins is in play. I think 9-8 is a perfect realization for this Vikings team. The NFC North is still up for grabs. I mean, the Packers, Lions, pretty much everybody but the Bears is considered to be in competition for the division this year.
Right.
There's just a lot of unknowns that we're really not going to know until at the very least October.
We were talking yesterday, and we have a Packer fan in-house.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit about the NFC North. And I, in the last week or so, have come to the realization that while the whole world talks about Detroit being good, and they won last night, they beat Kansas City.
Good win for them.
I'm nervous about Green Bay.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that just demons of 30 years past kind of haunting you?
No, it is a very good defense. Probably the best defense in the conference or division.
Maybe division.
Yeah, in the division is what I meant. Best defense in the division. Everything they have back offensively is back except their quarterback, but now their offensive coordinator and head coach gets to show off what he gets to do. There's just a chance they're going to be really patient and deliberate and balanced on offense.
Like efficient, yeah.
And that makes me nervous.
Yeah, that's true. That would make me nervous as well. I just got to see it from them. You know what I mean? I that's my thing with Green Bay. I got to try and see it from them and see what they can do overall before I'm ready to crown them. But in the case of Denny Green, they are who we thought they were. And can we not let them off the hook, I guess maybe is the best way to describe it. I don't know. Skol Vikings, we're getting ready for another football season. I think they're going to go 1-0. That's all that matters. You got to take it week by week anyway. Let's do this thing. This has been the Morning Sports Desk for Friday, September 8th. It's 7:32 on KWAD. Here's MNN News.
Minnesota News Network, I'm Brent Palm. Flags are flying at half-staff on state buildings through Sunset Saturday in honor of former Governor Al Quie. Minnesota's 35th governor will lie in state from noon to 3 today at the state capitol. Quie represented southern Minnesota's 1st district in the U.S. House for 20 years before serving one term as governor from 1979 to 83. He died August 18th of natural causes at age 99. Quie's public funeral is tomorrow at 1 p.m. at Central Lutheran Church in South Minneapolis. 44 Democrats in the Minnesota House and Senate oppose a special session to repeal a new state law that restricts what kind of hold school-based police officers can use on students.
They say it prohibits restraints that impair a child's ability to breathe or communicate distress, unless it is to prevent bodily harm or death. And an advocacy group at the state capitol Thursday and allies agreed the law should stay as it is. But House Republican Minority Leader Lisa Damon says the new statute is unclear. And she says some Democrats opposing a total repeal